and the magic machine tells me that I'm live. Magic machines. Oh, magic. The Boy Who Loved Trolls from 1984. I'm going to be doing something a little bit different here today that's designed to do two things. Number one, we might be engaging in a rebranding of this CW Chanter channel because we just got to do something with it. And this concept of the nostalgia loop nightmares and starting a channel just for that stuff has been on my mind for a while. So between starting yet another channel and trying to get more than 20 people to subscribe to it, or just, jumping on, this harvestable corpse of negligible internet attention, we might just do that. So there's that. There's bringing something new to this space. And there's also a desire to, if you look at the description box below, we say hello to Jonaside. We say hello to Philip Blair as well in the live chat. Jonaside, first in the live chat. Gold medal on to you, sir. Welcome, welcome. Silver for Philip. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Happy Krampus to all. So, the other thing is this is to expose you to some guys and gals and everyone in between of every stripe or other shape of your liking, whatever. Trying to expose some stuff from the other channels that I've got as well. If you look at the description box below, got off early. All right, good to see you. Charles Williamson, bronze medal onto you for live chat participation. Good for you. In the description box below, you'll also see the link to my awesome RPG channel, Blueberry Wolf Bridge, No Intro RPG. And I try to get people to go over there and tell people, like, look, if you think it's not up your alley, if I'm up your alley, it's up your alley. It's not, as Jonah said, it's really the same crap, different day. So what we've been doing there is we've been exploring a custom RPG system that has a lot to do with work that I actually started here back in 2018 when we did the Secret Space Program Whistleblower School time travel experiments. We've been working with that material for a while on the RPG channel, and we've been working on this thing called the Meta RPG, SSP, TTT, the Meta RPG. It's a work in progress. It's all workshops. None of this really matters. None of this really matters. Bear that in mind. But what we had been doing is I had developed this technique of, if people are familiar with the time travel experiments, we pick a year, usually trying to weaponize this notion of nostalgia loops, that things come back on these regular repeating cycles, 20, 30, 25-year cycles, 10-year cycles, so that by using those naturally occurring cycles, we can pick periods of time that resonate with today from the past and latch onto them. And by only listening to music from a given year and only watching TV shows from a given year and only consuming media from a given year, with reasonable, and I've explained this in the past, I don't want to reinvent the wheel in every single time that I discuss these things, you would help to create this effect of time dilation or time shifting or time travel, depending on how loose you feel like being with those terms and how you understand those terms to work. You could approach this metaphysically. You could approach this humorously. You could approach this as an art project. You can approach this as a game, as a literary technique like William S. Burroughs' cut-ups, or you can embrace it as an occult practice of trying to do a working of
calls will not be answered.
Not answering calls, going back into the past. So I had developed this technique that I was sharing that we've been utilizing a lot, where we were looking at old movies and old TV shows and old things from a given year, a given period of time, and using them to construct the framework of an RPG space, a tabletop RPG space like Dungeons and Dragons, or however you want to, whatever metaphor you want to use, to explore another aspect of this time travel technology, using technology in the Scientology sense of the term, the made up sense of the term. Hey, it is what it is. So, without belating the review too long, what I have is a movie from 1984. We're going into 2024. So 2023 and 2003 and 2013, those are, we're going to say goodbye. And we're moving and looking forward to what new old eras will display for us. So I developed this technique for developing spells out of these old media things. See a trope, name a trope, write a trope down. You can see a beloved character name, write the character's name down, using it as a tool to collect these things from the past to create spells for use in the game. And if this is extremely abstract, take a look at the channel and take a look in the description box below, the RPG channel, and take a look, because it's not that hard. I don't. What do I know? We say hello to Tolkien Study. We say hello to Jonty Thackeray. Welcome, welcome, welcome all. So, I had been obsessing and watching movies from 2014. We're not going to get too far afield of it, but now I'm looking at things from 1984. For the moment, I mean, whatever. And I saw a movie last night, and I utilized this spell taking technique. And when I did it, I recalled that I thought earlier, at earlier points when I did this technique, that, you know, at the end, what you have is you have a movie abstracted. And that if you read off these spells that are more or less chronological to the films that they come from, to the works that they come from, you end up with, you know, not a review, and not necessarily a synopsis, but something in between and different. And I also thought that if I looked at the spells and read them off in reverse, you know, just in order to you guys and discuss them with you, that would naturally set me up to do the most extensive analysis and review of a given work, perchance. The Boy Who Loved Trolls from 1984, it all comes together. You need to know this. It all came together for me at the end, when the ultimate revelation really came, that this 55-minute, it's not even a full movie, it's for kids, was produced by, for, and in Pittsburgh. Okay, it was produced for Pittsburgh Public Television. It's got Sam Waterstone from Law and Order, that guy. It's got William H. Macy in what is probably one of his first roles. That William H. Macy. He plays a turtle. The only other preview I want to give forward before I move further into just kind of do the thing that I'm going to do and see how it works. And what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to read the spell and then just kind of tell you what it brings to mind, what it came from, and we'll kind of step through the story that way and see how long it takes, and it'll be kind of an experiment and see where it goes. And hopefully what we end up with at the end is something new for you guys to experience, and maybe an invitation that some of you guys and others will feel the desire to follow up on, to check out the RPG channel and what we're doing there, because I think that's where I'm doing my best work. people could disagree as to, what a person's, best, output is. I have real questions about, how many subscribers I picked up organically, how many subscribers are, automated algorithm systems that I just accidentally picked up from other Yahoos and people that we were covering online. But the fact of the matter is that there can be no denial that the stuff that I was covering in the past, it's not exciting to me to cover anymore, and it's not important to cover anymore. There's no theory or feeling that, Simon Parks or Corey Good is anywhere near the levers of power, going to get anywhere near the levers of power. It's just, there's no, any sense of emergency or need or import that I felt at any time, to go after, people, saying, crazy, silly things on the internet. After doing it for X number of years and seeing the results is look, it's this. The results are a nullity. I think essentially what we end up doing is just engaging in a sort of gladiatorial combat for people on various, aspects of social media to get involved with and to champion and have fun with. I mean, when I return to this stuff, I still get, 3 or 4, nice messages. You're killing it. You're doing great. We love you. And I get it. There are people, but I often want to give feedback back to a lot of the people that will feed back to me and say, it's good that you're back doing this stuff. And I'll say to them, or sometimes it comes through the conversation where I actually text them back, or we have a talk, or it's just a thought that I have of just wanting to share with this person to say, is it that you think that what I'm doing is so important or so good, or is it that it reminds you of a time and a period where there was this energy and frisson in the air, where my excitement was at a certain degree, the community's excitement was at a certain degree, people were moving left and right, no one knew what the real size of anybody else's community was, how far they were going to grow, whether they were going to be the next L. Ron Hubbard or the next, whether they were going to end up with, talking to someone on Fox News and go the next level, and we really had to do something. That's all. After doing this, you realize you don't really change enough things to do anything. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. We're here for this. The Boy Who Loved Trolls. I mentioned Sam Waterstone. I mentioned W.H. Macy as he's credited in this made for Pittsburgh public TV production. There are other people of note in this movie as well. There are plenty of others, like at least 4 or 5 other people in this thing that you'll see. You'll be like, oh, that guy, right? But I couldn't remember what the hell the name was. I couldn't remember. Tom Savini is in this for a brief moment, which only makes me know that there's no way that Tom Savini is not from Pittsburgh, because there's only one way that Tom Savini ends up in this movie. And that's because this whole thing took place in Pittsburgh. It's nuts. There's like no special. It's like a reverse Cats is the best way I can describe it before I go into it. You've seen this before. It's like where they used to do this a lot. Like I used to see this a lot in like kind of like off Broadway, kind of like in this like in like the like late 70s, early 80s, was like these like avant-garde kind of productions for kids, where like they didn't necessarily have a budget. So it's like the dude in the tuxedo, right, at the penguin, at the zoo is the penguin, you know what I mean? The guy in the orange jumper is the lion, the wild hair, you know what I mean? He's the lion. Rawr, rawr. Don't like baby, the whiskers, maybe. But it's like all left to the acting. Like, I gotta tell you something, like there is like William H. Macy, who plays this amazing talking turtle, Socrates. They barely give him costuming. It's just amazing. And Sam Waterston as the troll, there's no makeup. It's just the dude from Law and Order 40 years ago being like, hey kid, you were looking for a troll? How do you know you haven't already found him? Because it just looks like, it's just like, it's a guy. It's just a dude. But anyway, The Boy Who Loved Trolls from 1984. I'm going to go through this. I've got 92 entries, including Tom Savini on the bike, which is the last entry before it, because I forgot to do it when it occurred in time, because I knew it was Tom Savini the minute he popped open his visor, but I didn't know it was Tom Savini because I was like, there's no fucking way. Why is Tom Savini in this thing? But it was. It was Tom Savini. It was ridiculous. And it's certainly not because, no, baby, we got to see what year it is. Oswald Spengler, William H. Macy is so underrated. Wait till you listen. The Boy Who Loved Trolls, you can see it for free. You got two options that I know about that you can see this bad boy for free. Maybe it's on YouTube uploaded as well. Okay? Well, there's a hidden. It's available on if you're a subscriber to Amazon Prime. Amazon has this. Oh, you paid us for Amazon Prime? Well, guess what? We have this other streaming service we're going to give you for free, where it's got ads. It's this thing called Freevee, I think it's called. You can do it there, or I watched it on this thing called Tubi, which is another like free streaming service with like these intermittent ads. But neither of them, the ads don't. To me, the ads, I grew up with commercial television, so the ads don't like freak me out as much as they do with like a lot of other people. Anyway, starting at 1 and going down, Star Quest Reversal. And this will also serve as a way to teach you guys like how the spell creation process works. Star Quest Reversal. The thing that was produced by something called Questar. So I just took in Star Quest Reversal, just doing a thing. Paul, the kid's name was Paul. It's about it's basically like a coming of age story. Like imagine like it's like a made for TV movie that was made by Canadians from dudes from Wisconsin, but it actually was made in Pittsburgh, right? Like the production values are like sub Nickelodeon. Like remember when Nickelodeon started? You know what I mean? This is like the dawn of MTV. With like JJ Jackson being like, here I am, a dude on screen, talking to you before the next video, which is going to be Jump by Van Halen. Give me the next sheet of paper. It's like that. Anyway, and it's like all narration, and it's just like, it's like Degrassi Junior High, but like steps down. Anyway, Star Quest Reversal. Paul, white disguise that comes in a can. You see this thing of him like playing with shaving cream, like, because it's all about like him transitioning to a boy and whether or not he wants to grow up or stay a kid. It's this like kind of coming of age story that involves mystical monsters that just look like people. A story about a troll from his youth. So he reminisces about when he was a kid growing up. His mom and dad used to always read to him from this book about trolls. And it was, the typical thing. There's troll under bridge, eats children, whatever. And the kid was fascinated by it. Anyway, 5. Happy just being me is the kind of thing you say right before being punched. The music for this production, there's like at least like 7 or 8 custom songs for this show. And if the soundtrack is not available anywhere, and I don't know why on earth it would be, it should be. This deserves a vinyl release. I have fantasies every once in a while when I do these sort of things. And the current fantasy is I'm going to track down, I believe his name is Jay Ferdinand, who did the music. I'll have to watch it. I might watch this thing. This thing is like, it's oddly captivating. The music, there's like 7, like I said, there's like 7 or 8 like songs that are they're written for this thing, obviously, because the lyrics are so like, it's like, I'm walking down the street, wondering what's going on, and the kid's like walking down the street, wondering what is going on with my mind as I grow. He's like looking at things. It's like they wrote the songs for the things, and like it's just. But what's crazy is that there's these like kind of like Degrassi Junior High, like do kind of tunes, and then at times it like kind of goes like kind of hard. It kind of goes like 1984, like we have to take the subway to Harlem in 1984 for some reason in this show. It goes to the subway tower for no reason. All of a sudden it's like nobody listens, nobody cares at all in the city. We're all alone. It's like that kind of shit, and like there's like hard synthesizers on it. It's like nuts. Anyway. Happy just being me. Way within the song, happy just being me. It's like one of those songs that you only hear in like these like made for kids productions from like 1980, whatever. It's like do. Every time I think about my good friends, I think about good times we had. Wonder what the new schools can be like with me and my gang. Oh no! New kids, new experiences. What's gonna happen? Do. It's like this. It's that shit all over the place. And this one of the songs is called "Happy Just Being Me." And I wrote down, "Happy Just Being Me" is the kind of thing you say right before being punched. Anyway, we say hello to Yeezy joining us on Twitch. We're also on Twitch. We also have Gerald M. Yates with us as well, commented on Truman Capote and the Good Pills. Hey, listen, we got Tolkien Study with us. Lou Reed played on those records. I wish, man. Happy Just Being Me. The kid was born on the wrong side of town, looking for trolls, no one to be found. Get kicked in the dirt, get your hand canked in. Someone's going to step on you like you're a prick. Lou Reed, Lil Lou Reed. Depends on where you're coming from in the, Yeah, it sounds like an after school special. It's like an after school special, but specialer. Charles Williamson, I don't know 99% of your references, but I somehow trust you. I am the Thomas Pichon of bullshit media. That's basically what's going on here. Lone turtle chilling at the mall. At one point, him and his friends, they're showing that they're like little kids still curious about little kid things, even though they're growing up and starting to find out about girls. So they come to this, I guess it's a magician and whatever. There's a turtle. There's just like a rando turtle. I guess it's supposed to be Socrates later on, but it's this turtle. It's just a regular old turtle. He's sitting there like he's at the fucking like at the pavilion. He's just like chilling there. So I just wrote down lone turtle chilling at the mall. Girls master the art of fantasy and illusion. That's a combination because he was watching a magician who was the master of fantasy and illusion. At the same time, the narrator was talking about Paul's burgeoning interest in girls. So it became girls master the art of fantasy and illusion. Tell me that ain't the truth, baby. Anyway, 8, the most 1984 stage magician ever with a mask. Okay. He had a black bowler hat on. It was like kind of, I think that was like the hat, if not like some sort of pork pie. He had the classic, like black, like generic, like masquerade mask, okay, and a white tuxedo. Arguments can be made about whether or not that's actually the most 1984 stage magician ever. The most blank stage magician ever is always going to be tough. Okay. A shower for rainbow kids thanks to the white tux magician. It's self-explanatory. Ice cream on wax. So Paul goes in, gets ice cream cone, and then he goes into the record store to mac on the ladies. But unfortunately, the record starts skipping, and we realize that Paul's ice cream has melted onto the record player, and it's starting to skip. You hear a voice go, "Get out of here with the ice cream, kid." Ice cream on wax. That'll come in handy later, trust me. Moving on. 11. When basketball players pulled their socks up all the way. That's a foregone era, right? That's how you know it's 40 years ago. All the basketball players, like the free ballers on the court, as well as they have these like fantasy segments where they show them up laying up shots. They all have their everyone, right? This was I remember this. So this is actually crucial. I remember all of a sudden it's not cool to pull your socks up all the way, right? And when I was told that it wasn't cool to pull your socks up all the way, of course I had my socks pulled up all the way, right? And everyone was like, why do you have your socks pulled up all the way? What are you like? And I was like, what do you mean? What do I have my socks pulled up? And if I look back at movies from 1984, everyone has their socks pulled up all the way. John McEnroe, you know what I mean? Like Johnny Unitas, like everyone has their socks, like O.J. Simpson, everyone has their socks pulled up all the way. Do you know what I mean? Like, only like the girls like had their things like everyone had their socks, like rappers had their socks pulled up all the way. So I thought that was, everyone thought that was, but apparently it's like there was some like crucial point in like 1986 or 87 where it was like we all have to have our socks like rolled down around our ankles so that people know that we're like cool. But so go back in the day, everyone used to their socks all the way up. Made perfect sense. Teen Wolf, there you go. Socks pulled all the way up. Doorman at the R-rated movies. Our narrator, who has a different voice than the narrators he's presented in the film, is this guy who's wearing a full doorman outfit. He's another one of these guys that you've seen in like 10 million things. If he didn't take a turn at being Mr. Wimple for Charmin, I have no idea. He's not Mr. Belvedere, but you've seen him in 10,000 things. He's a doorman at the movies, like apparently. And so the kid keeps on trying to sneak into an R-rated movie, and like the doorman has to keep on being like, "No, kid." And then a door guardian sees past Groucho glasses. Paul puts on the Groucho Marx glasses with the nose and the funny mustache to try and get in the R-rated movie. But nice try, kid. Hey, tiny little man or kid wearing Groucho Marx glasses, get out of here, kid. I told you no R-rated movies. And the kid's like, oh, shucks, oh, geez, I tried. Best dad ever, followed by best mom ever. These statements are ironic because what happens is Paul comes home as a young child and says, oh, man, what do I got to do? He's got all this homework to do. But the father comes home and says, oh, man, you know what I really want to do? I want to go out to eat. Let's go out to eat as a family. And the mom says, well, that would be great. But unfortunately, shitbag, right? That piece of garbage has homework to do. So I don't know what we're going to do. Dad knows what he's going to do. They're going to leave the kid at home. Mom and dad just say to Paul, you do your homework here. We're going out. And Paul's a young man. And it's Pittsburgh. Okay? So anyway, it is what it is. So that's ironic. Paul denied by parents. At one point, right before they leave, Paul brings out the book about the trolls and says to his mom, hey, Mom, before you go, do you think we could read this just one more time? And she looks at him and goes, oh, don't you think you should, like, grow up? Loser, like, honestly, like, shuts him down. Followed by a boy who keeps a photo of his mom next to his bed. Now, bear in mind, this is not a kid like at college or away at the army. This is a young boy who's living at home with his mom, presumably like in the next room over. Like at 3 or 4 points in this movie, you see Paul on his bed, like wistfully just like thinking about things. And then all of a sudden he'll look over and he'll be like, oh yeah, that picture of my mom. And it's like, they'll show the picture of the mom smiling and shit. It's like, she just shot you down. I don't know why you're thinking good things about it, but it's whatever. But anyway, it's another thing weird about him. First of all, because when you're that age, you don't pick the shit that goes in your room. And you sure as shit didn't be like, I don't know, maybe it's possible you were like, Mom, can I have a photo of you for my room? But if you did that, I would be like, take that kid to someone. But whatever. Or so more likely than not, the mom was like, here's a photo of me for next to your bed, because that won't turn you into a fucking weirdo, right? Whatever. 18, finding out about the realness of trolls. So the parents go. They leave him alone. But it's day, it's nighttime at one point, but then he goes outside during the day. So the kid finally decides to himself, enough thinking about trolls. Are they real? As one would want to think. So he hits the streets. Why not? Right? Your parents abandoned you. I don't know what they expected. So the kid leaves the domicile and goes off on a private journey to talk to, finding out the realness of trolls. Number 19, Nobody Listens, Nobody Cares. That's that song that I was telling you about. Where that's when it plays. When all of a sudden he's like depressed because his parents just left him. Like they show up the scene. Like he's upset. He's not happy that his parents were like, the dad is even like, hey, by the way, we're leaving you and we know whatever. That homework better be done. Or if it's not, I don't know what's going to happen to you. Right? It's like tantamount to kind of a threat. Anyway, so they leave him there. So then they have this kid walking around the streets of Pittsburgh, we finally realize, as they play this like kind of like moody, like, nobody listens, nobody cares, nobody listens, nobody cares. You can die on the streets alone. You can end up like a rat without a bone. No one listens. No one cares. It's like that. And you have the kid walking around and he goes up to like randos. Number 20, asking randos about the location of trolls. That's a safe thing to do. The kid just goes around. That's also safe behavior to model for kids. Right? This is like 1984, like the dawn of the latchkey kid era, even though there were latchkey kids forever, right? But anyway, so the kid is like modeling basically the whole thing made for Pittsburgh public television. Well, like the geniuses of Pittsburgh. Hey, come on. Modeling this behavior. You know what you should do, buddy? Here's a statement about exploring the naivete of youth. You got questions about the world? Get out there. You're a young man. You're a young boy, 9, 11 years old, 10, 11 years old, 12 years old, possibly. Go talk to some strangers, motorcyclists, fat guys. Just talk to some random people about trolls. Asking randos about the location of trolls. That's when he goes up to that guy on the bike and is like, do you know where I can find some trolls? And the guy flips up his motorcycle like visor and is like, I don't know, kid. Why don't you check out under a bridge? That's where I always go when I want to find some trolls. It's Tom Savini. And I was like, that's fucking Tom Savini. And you only see his eyes, his nose, and the top part of the stash. But it's Tom fucking Savini. So that's all you needed to see. And I was like, what is Tom Savini? And I'm like, is that Tom Savini? I'm like, what the hell is going on? Anyway, especially because there's like no special effects in the entire goddamn production. Anyway, the whole world's changing to soft shit. That's another song lyric that we changed a little. 22, Cold World, 22, because they're singing about a cold world. 23 friends, smart and kind. 24, bull plane. They have a plane that all of a sudden lands in the middle of the street, and it's got this like bull symbol on it, like a bull, like the head of a bull. And so I called it bull plane. And then 25, a literal pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. So these idiots on the plane, what they're doing is it's like this kind of like, it's this weird, like these strange people that they're in the bridge business and they're searching for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Right. These will end up being our kind of our nemesis at, our kind of our antagonists. These guys in the quote unquote bridge business. But they land and they're looking for a pot of gold. They're like, oh, we thought the coordinates were here. And then it turns out the child points out to them, well, there's that restaurant over there. And there's a restaurant called the Pot of Gold Restaurant. Or the Pot of Gold at the end of the rainbow restaurant or something. And it's like a little bit of magic is baked into everything we make or something. And the guys on the plane are like, oh my God, the computer, our amazing AI computer. We told it we wanted to do. We did. Oh my God, I can't believe that it led us to this restaurant, you son of a gun. So anyway, Paul gets on the plane because why not? 25, a literal pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That was the restaurant. 26, the computerized bull AI. For whatever reason, this bull symbol is also the talking AI that they have. Bull plane TARDIS effect. You go inside the plane and it's like huge on the inside. The bridge business. That's what these guys are. They're in the bridge business. They've got a map with all the bridges of the world all over it. And so Paul asks him, goes, oh, I'm looking for a troll. So could you tell me which of these bridges has a troll underneath it? And they're like, oh, kid, no, there's no such thing as troll. No, what do you think of trolls? No, that's nuts. Bridges. It's about bridges. Okay, you don't want to forget about trolls. It's about bridges. And Paul's like, no. Come on, really? You guys don't know about these things? The bridge business. 29, the Baron of Bridges. He's another guy. He's another actor who, like, I've seen that guy in 18 bajillion things. Tolkien study, Bridge meets Pontiff. Okay. Please tell me it's run by Tom Waits. I wish. What you looking for, kid? What you looking for? Trolls. You don't want nothing to do with trolls. You don't want nothing to do with the trolls. It's about bridges. Bridges as far as the eye can see. Can't you see it with me, boy? See it. Oh, the bridges are burning for us tonight. No trolls in sight. They've gone the way of romance. Kid's like, what? That would be if Tom Waits was in it. He's not. But thank you for the setup. Oh, we got Jilly with us. Here we go. This is great. How do I lose you guys? I'm talking like frame by frame through a TV show made for kids, and I managed to lose you people. Jilly Beans, I'm lost right now, but that's what happens when you're late. Okay, Jeff Bridges. Bridge, man. The troll under the bridge. That's what we're looking for. Not the best Jeff Bridges, but we'll try. We'll try later. Here's Charles Williamson. I've been lost from the start, Jilly. Still might catch up, though. Guys, how can you be lost, Charles? You've been with us since the beginning. It's like, at what point did I sneak in some radical new notion? I told you what I was doing and then proceeded to do it. How can you be lost? Bite-sized Cobra Vids. I can't believe we have celebrity bite-sized Cobra Vids. Hey, bud, when can I come on again? I have lots to tell you. Watch this movie review, and then we'll maybe if we got time, we'll start it. We'll do so. I am not opposed. But the one thing is that now that I'm 37 minutes and 57 seconds into this bad boy, I am not playing with fire that far into the script, right? If we had started, if I had seen you pop up like 2.5 minutes in, I'd be like, okay, we'll save this idea, or I'll try these out with Bite Size. Listen, Bite Size Cobra Vids, because you're a celebrity and because people are joining late, there's a movie called The Boy Who Loved Trolls from 1984. I watched it and basically took, let's just call them abstract notes. We'll just keep it simple. Baron of Bridges. Next one, number 30, A Sense of Purpose. 31, Paid to Get Results. Not a big deal there. 32, A Billionaire Seeking a Pot of Gold at Mirror 23. Well, that's because it's the 32 entry, so we've got the 23 in the mirror, so that's reversed. I'm blow my nose. And Charles, and Charles, I love it. I hope that I'm not coming like that. I hope that I don't sound like I'm coming at you hard, Charles, because talk about a guy who likes to play with fire, or the boy who loved trolls. I'm blowing my nose with a clip artist watching. Come on now. Listen. They're not all winners. Supporting people. Okay. Because the bridges support people. 34, Span of Years. Whatever. 35, Random Number Signal Sound Tone Generator. They're always hitting the when the computer does the thing. The Soft Market for Trolls. That was the bridge guys being like, no, we're not interested in trolls. And they were like, why? Because we can't do anything with them. They don't work, and you can't sell them for anything. Nobody wants them. So what's the point? It's about bridges, kid. Bridges. You make your money in bridges. Like, they're all trying to get the kid to be involved in bridges. You'll see like a lot of the thread with the bridge guys is this notion of Paul being a child on this road to much like Wes Craven's Swamp Thing. We have what could possibly be a kind of Jungian epic journey of the hero through self-discovery, but because it's being handled by, hey, people doing the best that they can with the Pittsburgh budget, it ends up being this, and the kid's a terrible actor. Sorry. It is what it is. We'll not be hearing more from him. The Soft Market for Trolls, number 37. Oh shit, it's a Rainbow Alert. because all of a sudden this beam, this thing starts going off, and they're like, it's a rainbow, it's a rainbow, it's a rainbow alert. Because whenever there's a rainbow, these bridge people freak out and immediately go chase it in the thought and the feeling that at the end of this rainbow will be their pot of gold, despite the fact that clearly they have more money than sense already. What they would need with an extra pot of gold, I don't know. But it is what it is. 38, an in the bridge business. So the Baron of Bridges is playing chess with the AI computer. And Paul, I think, accidentally moves one of the Baron's pieces, but that ends up putting the AI into checkmate. So the Baron is immediately taken with the kid to a degree, to a small degree, to a very small degree, in fact, because he's always telling the kid to not talk to him directly, to always talk to him through the secretary. But it is what it is. But he says to him, look, you're now my kid, and I'm going to get you into the bridge business. Number 39, where are you going to go? Huh? There's a song. And that's part of it. 40, secret police looking for Paul. So Paul exits the plane dissatisfied with what the bridge business people have to show him about the world. And his journey for the truth about trolls continues. And when he gets out, immediately these kind of Secret Service agent type guys with the silvery glasses and the sports blazers and the blazers and the whole khakis and everything immediately start following him around going, are you Paul? Are you Paul? We're looking for Paul. Like, who knows what they're after, but it is what it is. Secret police looking for Paul. 41, 45 degrees and 19 minutes. We go in, all of a sudden Paul, again, for some reason, wanders into, I guess, a scientist's house. I guess he's there for some reason. I may have missed something. Schmendrick by the Cumsicle painting. There's this guy, another guy who you've seen in 18 million things, though it's 90% of them were probably like small commercial work and walk-in shit on like what's happening now. Like, Miss Shirley, do you think I could get another grape soda? Marvin, you've been there all afternoon. Get out of here. Okay, Shirley. But, he's done that like 18 bajillion times, so him like on site. So he's by this painting that looks like someone jacked off on a windshield wiper and took a picture of it because they needed some sort of, I don't know, evidence of weather for the guy to be working with. I don't know what it is. 43, a scientist who specializes in rainbows. That's this guy's deal. He's a rainbow studier. Like apparently his whole thing is rainbows and trying to figure that shit out. He's got an amazing computer that has the power to access local libraries. That's how I wrote it down. Sir CompuFace, that's because when he puts up his AI, it's got this like computer face. 46, kicking out the data files on this RNG style. Well, again, kicking out the data files on trolls, random number generator style, that random noise generator style. That's that sound that you always hear in those movies. 47, AI with attitude from 1984. That's because the AI starts like making fun of the scientist. 48, mythical means it does not exist. Just wrote that down. It just had sense to write down. 49, guard dudes on the seek. They all of a sudden, those Secret Service agents come into the scientist place and start trying to find Paul again. Number 50, 1972 data streams unknown. The scientist says that he can access any data in the world except anything from before 1972 because it wasn't digitized. So that was that. Number 51, a place called the Silence. The doorman, for no reason whatsoever, is reintroduced as Paul is trying to escape the scientist's facility. When he encountered the bull plane and those bridge weirdos, that was strange enough, right? But it had, I guess, planes are conventional modes of transportation that we don't usually land them in streets. And barons of bridges are, I guess, a thing that could occur. But the scientist place, all of a sudden, Paul starts running around the scientist place, and all of a sudden it's like a labyrinth. And we get this sort of mystical notion of Paul's having to make all these choices about, what he's doing. He's all confused in the head. And so this doorman all of a sudden reappears as some sort of like instructor or guide and tells Paul that he, the doorman, is from a place called The Silence. Okay. And then he says, then I wrote a segment we call Door Choices. Paul, all of a sudden, the guy says to him, well, Paul, if you want to find out where these trolls are, I guess you're going to have to keep on looking. If you want to get away from these guys, I guess you're going to have to keep on running. So Paul is like, I can't open these doors. They're stuck. And he's like, well, you're going to have to do something, kid. And so then all of a sudden, Paul starts opening these doors, and he opens each door, and he sees like the guys he just saw. He saw the scientist saying to him something. He sees his dad yelling at him about homework. And it's, Then all of a sudden, he opens one door, and it's, what do we have here? 1972 Dash, a place called The Silence, a segment we call Door Choices. Goodbye, Seeker of Trolls. Says goodbye to Paul. Oh, yeah, then he sees a road to like nowhere. I think what's that anyway? It said then there's a pillow troll. That's because when he first encounters the troll, spoiler alert, there's spoilers throughout this entire goddamn thing. So if it was your intention to see A Boy Who Loved Trolls from 1984, spoiler free, get out whenever you can. It's already too late. So much like the bold, amazing budgetary choices that we've seen before, the Sam Waterston has a kind of a jacket that's got the face of a troll on the back of it, kind of made out of like Mummenschanz. Do you remember Mummenschanz, the mime group? And they used to have like a lot of like their stuff would be based on like, like pillows and stuff. It would like be like very billowy and like thick and big. It was like that. It was like very like this, like a big. I remember this being a very big look in the 1970s. Like there were these like these like overly like overstuffed like fabric dolls and shit that were like purposely like over plump, and they'd have these huge noses and stuff. It was like a lot of that shit. And so he's got this like jacket on like that. Number 55, trolls look just like people here. There's no makeup. There's nothing. The guy is just like dressed in semi-medieval garb underneath a bridge. It's Sam Waterston from Law and Order. Sports socks washing for trolls. He's watching his socks because, Paul is like, are you going to eat me because you're a troll? He's like, no, I'm just washing my clothes, dude. I can't believe people talk about me eating kids, even though it will turn out that there is some kind of disturbing things about this already. We're only about halfway through this, by the way. 57, open door to an open road. I don't know how I may have gotten that out of order. 58, cauldron under an arch. 59, Paul the Revolutionary, who was good with metal and fast with a horse. It doesn't matter. 60, saving money by only filming the shell. Okay, so check this out. There used to be this place in Pennsylvania called Space Farm Zoo and Museum. And there was another place called Turtleback Zoo. And a lot of these places were famous because they were kind of like attractions for kids, but they kind of sucked. You know what I mean? And what happens is when they eventually, so what ends up happening is when we first meet Socrates, this giant talking tortoise, they just film him from the back, the shell. And it's so very clear that there's no like front to, there's no head, there's no apparatus, there's nothing. There's just this huge tortoise shell. So I was immediately reminded of like when you go to these like lame ass pseudo zoos or pseudo museums or whatever, and they'd have a thing like it would be like a fake tortoise shell that you could climb into and be like, now you're in a tortoise shell. Now you feel like what it's like to be protected by a tortoise shell, just like a tortoise. You're learning something, aren't you, kid? And it's like, no, I'm not. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm not learning anything here. But anyway, saving money by only filming the shell. Anyway, thank you, Socrates. A turtle who can become William H. Macy. So all of a sudden, they start talking to the Socrates, and they're like, will you show us your true form? He's like, I don't want to. Come on, show the kid your true form. Okay, I will. And so all of a sudden they cut away from the shell. There's no special effects, right? And all of a sudden they turn back, and it's literally like there's like no costuming even. Like when I say this is like a reverse Cats, they gave William H. Macy, who's got to be like 23 years old at the time that he's doing this, he's got like your standard little boy sailor suit with like the round hat and the whole thing, but it's like been dyed this kind of like army fatigue green. and he's got like barely a patina of green on him. So they're like, show us your true form. So they cut away from the shell, and then they literally cut back, and it's him going, oh, this is me. Then he's doing his like William H. Macy doing his like body movements. I'm moving like a turtle. Okay, it's a kid's part. It's a kid's movie. There's no small roles. There's just small actors. Be the turtle. I'm a tortoise. How do I move? I move like this. Do I move in my head? My head's like, you know what I mean? It's all that shit, but there's like no special effects whatsoever. The guy is like barely. It's just ridiculous. But anyway, but he does the best that he can, I guess, with what he's got. Anyway, where am I? Saving my balance from the truth. Thank you, Saturday. The turtle can become William H. Macy. And when I saw the dude pop up, because you see the credits at the end of the movie, right? So when he popped up, 23-year-old William H. Macy, I've seen William H. Macy since he started being like big, but he started being big like kind of relatively late in his life. So this is like a young William H. Macy. So when I first saw him, I was like, is that William H. Macy? Like, it's not like this is the kind of thing that you're expecting. I mean, what do you expect a young William H. Macy to pop up in? But it was like out of nowhere. I was like, is that fucking William H? Like, I just got over the fact that I was like being like, is that the dude from Law and Order? But now I'm like, that's William H. fucking Macy. What the fuck? And it was at that point that I was like, well, I'm doing this video review because that's happening, because that's what's up. But anyway, a turtle can become William H. Macy. The mermaid, again, she's got a sequence dress, you know, like skinny dress. That's her being a mermaid. Oh yeah, hell yeah, I dance to Donna Summer. Fuck yeah. That's no lie. Let me do this. Only gotta do this. Dancing Donna Summer right now. The only fortunate thing is that I didn't see you do that line before I did the William H. Macy unfolding. I could have done a whole thing. Anyway, I didn't know there was this William H. Macy and the Stan Lee biopic. Anyway, here we go. She's great. Donna Summer's great. Oh, and I'm thinking of Diana Ross. Donna Summer is great, but I was thinking of Diana Ross. Whatever. The mermaid, fins for swimming, feet for walking, because she's got a little bit of confusion. She's like, oh, she starts to fall, and they're like, remember, use the fins for swimming and the feet for walking. So now she's got feet. Okay. Mermaid hair is made of gold. Fact. So it turns out that this pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that these bridge guys are actually looking for, dun, 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 it's actually the fucking mermaid's hair. Will that be a problem? Not really, but it is what it is. Her name is Kolati. So they ask Paul if he wants to go to Kolati's palace under the water. So again, remember, Paul has left home, presumably for hours now. Oh, there's a lot of Rumpelstiltskin, the whole thing. Yeah. So anyway, 67, deep brunch at the Aqua Blue Aquarium. It's if you're Ray Lynch, it's like because they start playing the new age music. Anyway, Paul the Great, because they start having these fantasy segments where you see Paul doing magic. It is lame. Anyway, 69, can you believe in magic? 70, the choice must be his. So we start to get this impression because we see this interaction between Paul. The troll's name, played by Sam Waterstone, is called Ophodi. And Socrates, William H. Macy's turtle. And there's something to do with Paul making a choice. And Socrates keeps on reminding Ophodi that the choice has to be his. The choice must be his. 71, narrative disco lyrics for the gayest troll mermaid turtle movie ever. I make no apologies. I feel like I've had every right to use that word. It is what it is. 72, he dies unless he finds. He's got to find something. This guy Ophodi's about to die. He's going to die within 24 hours. It's his last night on Earth, apparently. unless something happens. And he's not really explaining to Paul really what it is. 73, the rules. He must have a choice. Again, that's repeated. 74, fancy hair and designer jeans destroying magic. So there's a big problem. And the big problem is this, is that for the turtle, the mermaid, and the troll, and especially the troll, part of the reason that the troll is dying is because kids don't believe in magic anymore. And essentially what Ofodi has to find every year or expire is a kid who believes in the magic of trolls. And if he can find a kid that believes in the magic of trolls enough to do a special thing, then he'll live. If that doesn't sound creepy as fuck, you're just like too good a person, right? You're just not thinking like about the reality that we live in, right? About the world and how it is. Okay. So literally the Ofodi character says to Paul, like, the kids today, they've got their designer jeans and their hair and their makeup. They don't care about music. They don't care about magic anymore. And then 75, tiny cape for full turtle protection effect. William H. Macy's character has literally like a Cub Scout bandana, like kerchief around his back that's got like a turtle shell design on it. That's what they've given him for that's how you know he's a turtle. Okay. 76, white automated Trojans. It's Trojan brand land movers and equipment when the bridge people start coming in. Because what happens at this point is the bridge people have discovered Ofodi's bridge. Okay. Ofodi's bridge, where he lives underneath, the troll bridge, is also a magical place, a magical jumping off point to Kaladi's palace under the water. So presumably anything that happens to the bridge or the people under the bridge will also affect them, even if they're in the palace under the water, I guess. And the bridge people have been drawn there, not by the troll, but because they're after Kaladi's hair. That's the gold, the actual gold at the end of the rainbow. So they have the machines that they're using are Trojan brand. So I just wrote white, and they're white. So I wrote white automated Trojans because that could be interpreted in other ways when we use the spells differently. Black Bombers of Progress. They were like the meanie bobinis of the bridge people. 78, Stop Rotten Luck. That's just something somebody says. 79, Recalling the Boy. They think back to the first encounter with Paul, the bridge people do. 80, A Desperate Bid to Save the Magic. What had happened was that when Paul had accidentally won the chess match for the Bridge Baron said that you could have anything you want from me. And so the kid says, I want a bridge. At that point, when they're about to destroy the bridges, he runs up out of the Coletta's palace under the water to talk to the bridge people to try and stop them from destroying things. And in Coletta's palace under the water, there's not only Ofodi, the turtle, and the mermaid. In addition to them, there's about 20 kids presented in various attire of various nationalities and various regions through time. There's like an Egyptian kid from like ancient Egypt. There's like a Persian girl with like a veil. Like it's like all these like kids from like different parts and places in time. To the degree that they can afford any costuming, it seems like they blew the entire budget on like putting the little ass Victorian like fluffy ascot on one of the little kids or whatever. It's like that's where the money went. Explaining it all to the mysterious doorman. So Paul encounters the doorman again, and here's what's going on. The rich man and his gang, that's the bridge people. 83, nobody can stop time forever. So the doorman, in order to stop things and to give Paul some breathing room to figure out what his next move is, freezes time above the land so that Paul can go down again and talk to people about what's going on. And it's at that point that we see that Ofodi's hair has gone gray. And it's interesting because prior to this, I had seen a movie from 1984 called The Sword of the Valiant with Sean Connery, where there's a kind of a similar effect, where there's a guy who's kind of mysterious. He's kind of like a dark character, the Green Knight, It then turns out that he's not really an adversary to the protagonist. He's really the doorway to knowledge and understanding. But anyway, it is what it is. So what Paul's problem is this, is that it's at this point of meeting all these characters that Paul's reflecting and saying that what's happening is this, is that the troll Ophodi is going to die unless he finds a kid who believes in trolls and the kid is willing to do something. And what the kid has to be willing to do is abandon growing up, right? And stay a kid forever by staying in this magical palace with the mermaid and the turtle and hanging out with Ophodi the troll. How creepy is that? Okay. And Paul says, well, I can't do that because I'd forget about my mom and my dad and all these people. And Coletta, the mermaid, says, no, that's fine. And then she goes and she shows him the candy and the sweets that previously Ophodia tried to give him, where William H. Macy's Socrates was like, no, the choice has to be his. That apparently these things are like memory eraser drugs or like psychedelics or something. The kids take these, the kids eat the candy, and then they forget about and have the fun stuff and the dancing. Then they forget about their past. So they forget about the fact that they abandoned their homes and their families and their moms are crying about them and all that stuff. And so what the explanation is that this is how the story about trolls eating children happened. And the doorman shows up again and basically says to Paul, you know, what happened was Ophodi the troll, who came from this magical place that I live too, the Silence, slid down a rainbow because he wanted to, but then he couldn't get back up. And so in order to live in this place that wasn't the magical land where he was supposed to live, he had to do this thing of getting these kids and kidnapping them and getting them to stay with him forever in the mermaid palace under the water. Yeah. So Paul is like, no, that's cool. I'm not going to do this. But I wrote down 87. What about the other kids who came before? Because what happens then at that point is that basically the doorman's like, okay, I can't stop time forever. Paul, I can't stop time forever. You got to grow up. You either got to grow up or you got to decide to stay a kid here forever, or we got to do something because I can't stop time forever. And Ophodi's not going to live forever. You know what I mean? We got to do something. And Paul's like, well, Jesus, like, what the hell am I supposed to do? Right? And then they're making all these plans, but what they don't really explain in any real good way is what's going to happen to these other kids. Because basically what happens is that Ophodi the troll, the troll says basically to Paul, the new kid, the new protagonist, I'm not going to do this. Everybody's got to die sometime. I'm going to die tonight. I'm done kidnapping kids. You can be free. I'm not going to sacrifice your whole life so I can live another goddamn year. That's bad. That's bad news. I'm not doing that. And he says that in front of all the assembled other kids. If I were those other kids, I'd be like, well, fuck you, my man. Because presumably these kids, their parents are like long dead, right? You got the gal from ancient Egypt. You have everything. So it's like kids from the Revolutionary War. Everybody, you know what I mean? What are they going to do? Relocate to Pittsburgh? It's like, it's whatever, kid. Anyway, 88, memory erasing cookies. We covered that. 89, I'll send you a message. What ends up happening is that the doorman basically says, Paul says to the doorman, wait, you're from the Silence. Doorman says, yeah. He goes, Ophodi came from the Silence, and if he was in the Silence, he would live normally, right? And the guy was like, yeah, totally. And the doorman's like, I go back. Paul's like, well, do you go back? Can you go back to the Silence? And the doorman's like, yeah, I go back and forth to the Silence all the fucking time. It's like if you were to say to someone, you're trapped on this desert island. And then all of a sudden someone will return to you like, you're not trapped on a desert island. You're on fucking Key West. The highway out to the mainland of Florida is that way. It gets backed up. You're not going to want to go now. Wait a couple of hours, but you can walk it. It's going to take you a while, but you want off this island, you can go. Right? Like there's no reason for this guy to have been doing this shit. And apparently the doorman knew the story of Ophodi and knew what the hell the guy was doing. So why the doorman was sitting there doing nothing as generations of kids get kidnapped, it's like, whatever, dude. Anyway, I'll send you a message. So the doorman is explaining to Paul that even if you go away, you'll grow up, but you'll always remember this magical moment that you had with Ofodi and whatever. And he goes, and when you think of Ofodi's going to know it on the other side. And he's like, and then Paul turns to Sam Waterston, which is weird as all fuck. Because Sam Waterston is one of these guys, even when you see this guy 40 years ago, he's still like, he's got darker hair, but it's the same guy. He never looks like he's a young ever. You know what I mean? So he tells them, when you think of me, I'll know it, and then I'll send you a message back. And I'm like, that's weird, but whatever. So anyway, we go back. Paul goes back to going to watch The Magician with the other kids. A little bit, kind of depressed because, of all the things that he's seen. I wrote down the last name. 90 was Sam the Law and Order Troll. Just thought I'd get that in. 91, produced by, for, and in Pittsburgh. The whole thing was a Pittsburgh public television production. And 92, it was Tom Savini on the bike. Once I got the confirmation from the credits, I felt free to write it down. So, folks, The Boy Who Loved Trolls, it's less than an hour, but it took me more than an hour to cover it. But then again, I had a little bit of an intro. Doorman is Odin. It would have been. Now there's a fan theory. Odie is Odin. And Garfield is Loki. You didn't get that? And you call yourself an English lit mate? What the fuck is wrong with you? Are you kidding? How many years were you in that comparative studies master's program? 8, 9? And you couldn't figure out that the troll was his penis? And the mermaid was a metaphor for growing up and dealing with your fear of vaginal bleeding? Man. It's like no wonder Charles Williamson is lost. Gerald M. Yates says, brilliant. Tolkien Study says, excuse me, I teach it. Well, depending on I'm going by the philosophy of philology. Okay, yeah, I'm going by, this is what Tolkien Study goes on. He's like, I'm going to go by the triple word score word that we can gamble that C.W. Chanter hasn't seen recently enough to know what it actually means. Philology, whatever, dude. We all know it means to study the plants. Anyway, here we go. I have to be finding a deck of cards from the fours now because we are running out of time. And when is the debut of Rick and Morty? When's the 10th anniversary of that? Because that's when the world blows up. It's going to be soon if it hasn't already happened. It might be the 12th. It might be December 12th. I'll look that up. Hold on, because we're going to want to see that. But picking a card. From the Egyptian Tarot, still from 2003, on our lovely 20-year nostalgia loop, we have the High Priestess, marked with a lovely Roman numeral that doesn't correspond to, but visually matches up with the 11 viewers that I have now. The High Priestess, knowledge that is known and worked intuitively. Not wisdom and knowledge learned or gained from a book or exercised like a magician working out and exercising a formula that has been memorized, practiced, and perfected, but a high priestess who works naturally with the energies and effects and affairs of the world in order to make the right wisdom hopefully come through and the right workings be done. I love you, I love you, I love you. If nobody told you that they loved you today, somebody just did. That's somebody's C.W. Chanter. If you want to get involved in the Magical Mystery Show, please. I see this all the time. People that show up when I broadcast here, but don't show up when I broadcast on my other channels. Please take a look in the description box below. If you would be so kind, give it a shot. Subscribe. And like much of my videos that I've done, even on the main channels over the years, I say to you, do not look at the title and think this is not for you, because the notion that the title comports in any way significantly to the contents is oftentimes negligible. Oswald Spangler, CW Chandler, thanks a lot. But William H. Macy already told me that loves me today. I said, if nobody did, I didn't say, well, listen, well, then there you go. You look, then you're great. But did Tom Savini tell you where to find a troll? Nah. And we got you, Jelly Beans. We got you. You know what I mean? I got coverage. You know what I mean? And I love you and I appreciate it, so much. I'm talking to the Gerald M. Yates of the world, if you will. Not to call anyone specifically, anyone. But I'm telling you, I get it. I get it. You say, oh, TTRPGs, that's not for me. What do you think I'm doing over there? It's me. And I suggest that to those individuals who thought that the story had something to do with other people, you might be incorrect. Because it might not be the shining bullshit beacon that gets 30,000 subscribers to come to a lecture, to hear that the Palladians are going to come tomorrow to save us, though we're not looking for a savior race. And high vibration, this, that, or the other thing. But when you don't bullshit and you're just yourself, you don't run out of material. Because there's always plenty to bullshit about. You see what I'm saying? And it's a benign bullshitting, because I'm bullshitting, but I'm bullshitting. I'm not telling you this is a magical process whereby we've figured it out and William H. Macy's God. So give me your money. Is that a sales pitch? I don't know. R.I.P. Puff. R.I.P. Puff Saunders. It's no business. You know what I mean? It's no business. You know what I mean? It's a damn shame to know that whatever transpired that way. Here we go. I'm so upset. I got to wait till Saturday for my septic to be pumped. So upset. What are you supposed to do until then? Hold it? Dude. Oh my God. You misspelled the name, but that's okay. The first lead singer of the Pogues passed away as well. And a lot of people, when they heard that Sean McGowan of the Pogues had passed away, said that was a Mandela effect. They were like, he was alive. It always happens in threes. Is Kissinger dead? I keep on seeing Kissinger around all the time. Did Kissinger die? Oh my God, look at this. Shane McGowan passed away on the 123rd anniversary of Oscar Wilde on 2023. That's what I'm talking about, folks. That's what I'm talking about, folks. That's what I'm talking about, folks. You are sorry about misspelling. It's okay. I do that shit. I always go with the, Shane from the Pogues. I would have just, Kissinger was 100. Did he die? Only the good die at 100. Holy crap. That guy was don't get me started. Anyway. Norman Lear died? No, we're just going to be here all day. Jelly beans? Oh my God. They're not jelly beans. Okay. I'm done. So if you found this entertaining, even in the slightest, please check out Blueberry Wolf Bridge No Intro RPG, description in the links below. Okay? You may find it to your liking. You might not find everything to your liking, but you may. And you can give me feedback. Did you like this? The future ones might just be me being, the idea was me just reading out the spells with like, you'd just be like, this is the boy who loved trolls. This is not a review. This is not a synopsis. It is somewhere in between, and it is neither. Spoilers, be warned. Star Quest Reversal. Paul. White disguise that comes in a can. A story about a troll from his youth. Just being me is the kind of thing you say right before being punched. Lone turtle chilling at the mall. Girls mastered the art of fantasy and illusion. The most 1984 stage magician ever, with a mask. A shower for rainbow kids, thanks to the white tux magician. Ice cream on wax. When basketball players pulled their socks up all the way. Doorman at the R-rated movies. Door guardian sees past Groucho glasses. Best dad ever. Best mom ever. Paul denied by parents. A boy who keeps a photo of his mom next to his bed. Finding out about the realness of trolls. Nobody listens. Nobody cares. Asking randos about the location of trolls. The whole world's changing to soft shit. Cold World 22. 23 friends, smart and kind. Bullplane. A literal pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. I don't know when the computerized bull AI. Bullplane, TARDIS effect. The bridge business. The Baron of Bridges. A sense of purpose. Paid to get results. A billionaire seeking a pot of gold at Mirror 23. Supporting people. A span of years. Random number signal sound tone generator. The soft market for trolls. Oh shit, it's a rainbow alert. An in the bridge business. Where are you going to go? Huh! Secret police looking for Paul. 45 degrees, 19 minutes. Schmendrick by the Cumsicle painting. A scientist who specializes in rainbows. A computer with the power to access local libraries. Sir CompuFace. Kicking out the data files on Trolls RNG style. AI with attitude from 1984. Mythical means it does not exist. Guard dudes on the Seek. 1972 data streams unknown. A place called the Silence. A segment we call Door Choices. Goodbye, Seeker of Trolls. Pillow Troll. Trolls just look just like people here. Sports socks washing for trolls. Open door to an open road. Cauldron under arch. Paul the Revolutionary, who was good with metal and fast with a horse. Saving money by only filming the shell. Thank you, Socrates. A turtle who can become William H. Macy, the mermaid. Fins for swimming, feet for walking. Mermaid hair is made of gold. Fact. Kuladi's Palace under the water. Deep brunch at the neon blue aquarium. Paul the Great. Can you believe in magic? The choice must be his. Narrative disco lyrics for the gayest troll mermaid turtle movie ever. He dies unless he finds. The rules. He must have a choice. Funny hair, fancy hair and designer jeans destroy magic. Tiny cape for full turtle protection effect. White automated Trojans. Black bombers of progress. Stop rotten luck. Recalling the Boy. A desperate bid to save the magic. Explaining it all to the mysterious doorman. The rich man and his gang. Nobody can stop time forever. No desire to chase gold. Troll dying at the party at the end of the river. The legend of the troll who slid down the rainbow. What about the other kids who came before? Memory erasing cookies. I'll send you a message. Sam, the Law and Order Troll. Produced by, for, and in Pittsburgh. Tom Savini on a bike. And maybe I would do it like that. And then I'd be like, if you want the full description where I go through it, I'd be like, that would have to be like on the pay-per-view on the Patreon. Patreon link description box below, folks. There'll be another Patreon live stream this week too. Anyway, I love you. I love you. I love you. Nobody told you loved you today. Someone just did. If you've already been told that someone loves you, if that's William H. Macy or someone else, some other troll. Oswald Spagley telling somebody else to be good on the Moth as I'm doing my performance. What makes you think that he would be good at the Moth? Cut this shit out, man. You guys are worse than Date Says Cobra Vids. I love you. I love you. Peace.